Call him. Bring him to me. Yes.
I'ma beat your ass.
Well, last night we got a message from Bloomberg that if Paramount Skydance did buy WBD, that they would keep the creative team intact. Mostly. They would keep most things intact. So, does that mean keeping Gunn and everyone else? Who knows? However, now that I wake up, we have some more info about the possibility of hashtag Restore the Snyderverse actually happening. It says here on Screen Rant, DC SnyderVerse's revival chances look more likely after major studio updates. Years after the director and franchise parted ways, DC's SnyderVerse might be at its closest it ever has been to returning. If a reported studio move turns out to be accurate, Snyder shaped what would be the DCEU movie franchise, casting most of the main stars of the shared universe and spearheading 3 of the DCEU's biggest entries. While Snyder's DC movies are divisive, the director amassed a loyal fan base after DC replaced Snyder with Joss Whedon in 2017's Justice League. That's what I'm going to call it. It was because of that passionate fan base that Zack Snyder's Justice League would be released on HBO Max in 2021. Fans have since been asking for Snyder's DC plans to be finished at another studio that might become a possible reality. The fan campaign to sell the SnyderVerse to Netflix, where the director has released a series of projects since leaving DC, has been going on for a few years. Now the door for it to happen might have been open. That is because, as of a recent report, that Netflix is interested in buying Warner Bros. Discovery. According to Bloomberg, both Netflix and Comcast have an interest in Warner. Given that James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC studio lies within parent company Warner Bros. Discovery, if Netflix were to buy Warner, the streaming giant would have access to DC's movie and TV properties. That would mean a return of the Snyderverse on Netflix would finally be possible. Given the fan campaign for the Snyderverse to return and success of Zack Snyder, just so you know, movie studios, they're never going to stop. The movement's never going to stop. It's not going to stop. I've had my thumb on the pulse of the fandom for a while now, going on 14 years. And in these past few years, especially since the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, there's no signs of it slowing down. They will not stop. I'm just letting you know. So, I personally, if I were you, I would run 2 parallel universes. DC Light, DC Dark, whatever you want to call it. And you've got something for everybody. You've got the light, happy, and goofy with James Gunn. And you have the dark, grounded, gritty of the Snyderverse running parallel. You can eventually have them meet at some point. Who knows, whatever. But I would give everybody what they wanted. And you'd be making all the money. Makes sense, right? Of course it does. Netflix's former head of films addresses the streamer's chances of bringing back Snyderverse DC Universe. Sadly, the update was not as positive as fans hoped. According to Stuber, quote, "That's always tricky because you don't own it." Okay, yeah. Oh, I see. I missed a sentence. So in 2024, they were talking to Scott Stuber. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So he said it's always tricky because you don't own it. That said, Stuber revealed that Netflix hoped to license the SnyderVerse and claimed that the more Zack we have, the better we are. Wow. Okay. Well, with Netflix's positive outlook on Snyder, if the streamer held the rights to DC, which was what stood in the way, like Stuber said, then the Snyderverse could come back. It says here, there's a perfect way for the two universes to coexist. Let's see what they say. If Netflix had access to DC's library, then the only real thing that could stand in the way of the SnyderVerse's return is James Gunn's new DC universe. It still doesn't stand in the way. All they do is, look, they had different TV shows running that had their whole crisis on Infinite Earths, that whole thing going. So you could have two different movies, franchises running side by side. It can be done. Nothing stands in the way. Nothing stands in the way. Okay, they can do it. They're choosing not to. That's just it. In the past, Snyder revealed that he would love to finish his Justice League trilogy plans in animation. And no, I do not want that. Most of us do not want that. We want the beautiful R-farming Zack Snyder visuals. I would love to see it as James Gunn's DCU could continue with its 10-year plan and the Snyderverse could get the chance to end the property. No. And that's pretty much the end of the article there. So, people keep thinking that Paramount Skydance is going to get it. I don't know if they are. Well, we'll see. But if they plan on keeping everything the same, in the article, the key point was mostly the same. So what are they going to change? You get what I'm saying? So fans will grab on to that mostly part, because mostly means that you're going to change something. What could that something be? You might want to bring Zack in. You know what I mean? Who knows? But it is what it is. And I guess we will find out in a few days who's going to get the damn deal. 10 million subscribers.